we can do that another time. But one thing I do want to talk about before we go is,
Mm.
did you see the other post that I shared about the people who were on Twitter? I think it was Twitter. Yeah, it was Twitter, who were saying that like if you're a man that's attracted to smaller women or petite
Yeah,
women, then that makes
I
you
saw that.
it makes you a pedophile. Um,
Yeah.
that shit, I didn't think that I could hear anything more strange from from that faction of of that community
Yeah.
after I heard some woman who said that a man who changes their baby's diaper is a pedophile. So a father can't change his own child's diaper without
Hey,
being a fucking it.
hey, I'll take it.
What?
Sorry, wifey.
You got to change all the deities.
According to
The
the
logic.
cancel culture rules,
That's
I'm not allowed.
that's not even just cancel. See, that's the thing, right? Is that people will be like, "Oh, this is typical cancel culture." Is that first of all, cancel culture is something all humans have done for ideas or shit that they don't like. This is a deranged faction of this isn't even just like left wing or progressive shit. These people are just deranged no matter what their political affiliations are.
Yeah.
They just happen to belong to the so-called woke, left progressive side. But they are deranged by any measure,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
agree.
to take that shit. And some people were bringing up the fact that like, oh, maybe, that they were like, that they're obviously speaking from they're speaking from a place of being fucked over. Maybe a dude left them for a woman of that was built like that had those characteristics and whatnot. But
I guess.
but the thing is that like this kind of almost doubles back into the looks thing from earlier.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for making fun of, but in this case having appreciation for. Um,
Yeah.
because part of that stigma and shit, I realized. So we kind of laugh at it, right? That's so goofy. And then I think about the fact that like how common plastic surgery has gotten,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to like breast and hips and for the booty.
Yeah.
And part of that is because those are the signifiers that we've come to accept, um, or become more commonly accepted as signs of womanhood. It's like it was always a sign of womanhood, obviously, to have some degree of curves, but the degree to which has shifted. And in the United States, in our culture, it is largely there was a lot of focus put on very petite, models with more modest curves, of every background, no matter where they come from. And
Yeah.
now that there's been more of a focus on those who have thick bodies, if you don't have a naturally thick or curvy body, curvaceous body, well, you can fucking buy one. But
Yeah.
then it's like the opposite thing of that is then like, okay, if you're a woman of modest curves, you are seen as, being quote unquote more adolescent or,
Yeah.
less mature and whatnot, even though you could be talking to a 35-year-old woman. But yeah, she may not be necessarily as curvy or thick as like an 18-year-old or something. That's just
Yeah.
genetic, but
That
that's just genetic variation.
those posts are kind of fucked up because it could be really insulting to somebody who is just small and that's just their genetics. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're like, okay, so now I can't like be in a relationship with anybody because I'm looked at as a child in your eyes. That's just like
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, exactly. Or that some people, it also comes down to this wanting to control, being a busybody and wanting to control what other people, saying are attracted to, or
That's weird.
what other people should, you know, um, uh, do and everything. Kind of like when people talk about like, oh, if a 20-year-old is dating a 54-year-old, yeah, it's, you kind of wonder about how, genuine it can be or what the exact terms and conditions are. But at the same time, but ultimately, that's a 20-year-old is 2 years over the age of well, as far as the age of
Consent.
age of consent. Well, as far as the 18-year-old one, there's different ones depending on where you're at, right?
Yeah.
Even in the U.S. But they're 2 years past 18, and yeah, it's kind of weird that there's somebody that's 2.5 years their age, or over 2 times their 2.5 years their age, 2.5 times their age. But
But as long as it's consensual,
if
you
it's
can do it.
consensual, and yeah, and maybe it won't be the best experience for them, but it's like it will be a learning experience, and everybody has to learn, even when they're pursuing something that they want and it turns out bad. People have to be able to live with that. You can't just always, be like, I'm going to pursue something, and when things are not going right, going your way, just be like, um, oh, I was, being groomed, I was being abused, I was caught up in a web of this and that. It's like, no, bitch, it's like or I shouldn't say bitch because this happens both ways, but like, but
Yeah,
I'm not trying to diss all the women sugar babies and everything out there.
yeah.
But
The benefit was mutual, probably to some
yeah,
extent.
yeah,
Otherwise, it wouldn't have ever gotten to that point. But what
right.
I don't understand, and this is something that a lot of like comics have said, is like, whatever happened to just you see something, you witness something, and you just say, "Oh, okay," and you shrug and you move on with your life. Like, you got to have an opinion about, you know what I mean? Like, let
Everything, or
everyone,
you have to express an opinion about. You have to express your opinion about everything.
yeah. But
You
also,
know,
it's like, how can you? Because these are probably the same people that would say, oh, who somebody loves is none of your business, and whether
right,
you're
right,
gay or
right,
straight, it's the
right.
same thing. Someone's attracted to something, they probably don't know why, or it's
Hmm.
not. It's just in them, whatever they're attracted to XYZ, and they're not
Hmm.
attracted to ABC. Like, oh
Hmm.
well,
Right.
they're as long as they're not hurting you or raping somebody,
Right,
what
exactly.
difference does it make?
If it's consensual and if they seem to be of stable mind and a level of maturity, because I mean the whole thing about age of consent is that that's really just kind of like our best guess at when somebody could be known to know what to expect from
Yeah,
a sexual and romantic encounter, all the goods and the bad. So after age 18 and above, it's kind of like, whatever happens is what happens.